All right. How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to yet again another build video. All right, so today we're gonna be making the Necromancer build for the new update that just came out. All right, Necromancer had a couple good changes. To be honest, I like the changes a lot. I think they're very good. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, but the changes made them a little bit more viable and a little bit more enjoyable to play. All right, so this is a Bowcro. Alright, so this is a bow build. I have been using Destruction Staff on a Necro for a long time, and it just isn't working. I switched to a bow, and I just feel a lot better with it. Bow kind of hits different, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, let's just get into it. I hope you enjoy the video, and as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We are my character called Love Me Sexy. If you've seen Semi-Pro the movie, you know the reference. I'm using a Vicosa bow with a really cute outfit. Alright, so let's do it. So, here is what we're rocking with. Alright, so we have 20k magic, 32k health, 19k stam, we have 1,000 of each recovery, we have 3,500 spell damage unbuffed. Alright, so that goes up to over 4k when we are buffed. We have 33% crit. We have 5,000 penetration. Then we have 25,000 resistance, 24,000 resistance. On the back bar, we have 28 and 27. And then we get 31, 30, and then we get 28 and 27. It's plenty of resistances, guys, I promise you. Alright, so we have 24 into magic, 17 into health, 23 into stamina. And yeah, the goal is to have around 19 or 20k of each, and then have over 30k health. Alright, so that is literally what my goal is here. Because it is a hybrid. So, yeah, that is kind of what we're running. We are using the... What Montestone am I using? I'm sorry. The Warrior. We're using the Warrior for extra weapon damage. We're an Argonian because the Argonian passives are fire. Alright, we get extra healing. We get extra health. And then we get magic and stam. And then the best one of all is when you drink a potion, you get 3,000 of every resource. Alright, so that is really nice. So yeah, that is what we're rocking with. We're using Jewels of Misrule as food for a stage 3 vamp. So, yeah, let's just get into the gear. Alright, so on the front bar, we are using Way of the Fire. Alright, so I know. This set is a little cheese, is a little sweat. But you know what? When you're on a Necromancer, anything is allowed, okay? If you're on a different build that isn't a Necro, I'd be a little bit upset about it, and I probably wouldn't use Way of the Fire at all. But when you're on a Necro, you're allowed to use procs because they stink. Alright, they're stinky. But anyways, we're using a sharpened bow, and we have spell damage, stamina, crit chance, and when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 2,200 flame damage, and it happens every 2 seconds. Alright, so this is pretty dang solid, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, it's very good. So, pretty much, it's every other light attack weave. When you do damage with your dot, when you do damage with snipe, when you do damage with whatever skills you use, or light attacks, you're gonna do the flame damage on top of your extra damage. I know this set is good. For the enchantment, we have life drain. It's not really what you want to use. We want to use disease, poison, maybe a flame glyph, whatever it may be. Alright, so that is what we want to use. I'm using magic or life drain. I'm going to change it, don't worry. Alright, so on the back bar, we are using Wretched. Again, another meta set. I wouldn't call Wretched a cheese set by any means. Wretched is just good. Like, it just gives you a ton. Alright, you get recovery, spell and weapon damage, and then of course you get that 390 recovery that just hits different, cause it's different. Alright, so I know it's a little cheese, but Wretched is also a great set on a Necro. You're allowed to run procs on a Necro that are OP. Alright? So, as the monster set, we are using Mighty Chudan. Ignore the training. The second I'm done recording this video, I'm going to change this to Reinforced. So just completely ignore the training. We will use Reinforced. Alright, so Chudan is actually a really nice set on a Necromancer. Mainly because on Necro, I always feel like I'm missing one slot. So, what this does, it frees up that one slot. Oh, sorry. It frees up that one slot. So, not having to use bone armor is really nice, considering, in my opinion, bone armor Doesn't really do all that much anyways. I mean, yeah, it can be like a soft CC or whatever. I mean, it can reduce some costs. I don't care. I'd rather have the free slot. It saves me time. It saves me magic. It saves me energy having to freaking rotate the buff. So for me, I like having Chudan. Alright, and it also gives armor and health. A line of armor and then also a line of health is actually really nice for a monster set, and then you get major resolve at all times. So for me, it's a must-have. I love it on my Necro. I've tried many different things. Engine Guardian, Chudan, my brain's not working. Balorg, alright, many other monster sets. I just like this one better. Alright. So on the chest, we're using Way of the Fire. And then on the shoulder, we have Mighty Chudan. Alright, so what we're rocking with here is 5 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light. Alright, so that's what we're using. I would use reinforced on the heavy pieces, and then well fitted maybe on a light piece, or impen, whatever you want to use. Alright, so here we're using Sea Serpent's Coil. Sea Serpent's Coil is incredible. They are incredible. So it's just such a good piece to wear. I mean, it's the best thing you can get in the game for a one piece. It's almost impossible to replace. Like, it gives a 5-piece bonus as a one piece. Like, this is a 5-piece bonus in my opinion. It's more than a 5-piece bonus. This is crazy how good this is. So yeah, I put Swift on it actually to try to negate that movement speed loss that we get. I feel like it actually really helps. You could use Bloodthirsty, you could use Infuse, whatever. I like the Swift. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the Swift. It does make a big difference for me, because when you're at full health, you receive 40% damage mitigation. But when you take damage, you snare yourself by 40%. Now with Swift, it's at 33%. Alright, and then you get Major Berserk, which is 10% damage, and then you get 430 spell and weapon damage. So, the 7% is already gone. You do get Major Expedition on this build, so that would mean you're only snared by 3%. Not too bad, right? And then on the medium piece, you get a little bit of movement speed, and then you actually are in almost a net positive. Alright, so it's not bad. It's not that bad. Trust me, you're definitely fast enough. So, yeah. I love Sea Serpent. Who doesn't? I mean, come on. Alright, so lastly, again, we're using Bloodthirsty Wretched on the jewelry, because it's so good. Alright, so that is the gear. That's what we're running. Let's get into the skills. Now, before I even say anything, many of these skills can be changed. I promise you. There are some flex spots. Now, number 1 flex spot is this. I love Venom Arrow. I'm not going to lie to you. One, I do like Poison Injection better overall. But Venom Arrow gives you a little bit more util. So what I mean by util is the fact that it gives you the major brutality and major sorcery. Alright, so that means, yeah, you can use pots for your spell damage, but as an Argonian, I use my pots for sustain rather than using them to use my spell damage buff. So, I like Venom Arrow because, one, it can interrupt. That's really clutch. That kills. It gets a lot of Templars. It gets a lot of Arcanists. It gets a lot of Sorks. Also, increases it gives the brutality and sorcery. Very nice. Poison Injection is a little bit better overall for damage, but I like this one a lot. I weave it in. But if you don't want to use this, I mean, you could use Entropy. I don't know. But I think this is a must for having if you're using a bow, you might as well just use this, right? We're using Camo Hunter, so you get your crit. And then when you attack someone from the flank, you get Major Berserk. And as it levels up, the Major Berserk lasts longer. So yeah. Here we're using Magnum Shot as our CC. I really like it. I'm not going to lie to you. This build is impossible to play if you don't have a CC because you got to keep people away from you. Magnum Shot's great. I mean, you hit people back 8 meters, so you automatically got 8 meters of range that you're away from them, and then you can just back up. So yeah, you hit a roll dodge and you're gone. So really nice. Yeah. Here we're using Starking Blast Modes. I mean, this is the bread and butter skill. This skill hits like a friggin' truck. It only costs 1,500. It's insane. It does a lot of damage. You know the vibes of this skill. It's so good. Here we have Focused Aim. Now, why do I take this over Lethal Arrow? I take this because, one, Minor Breach is amazing. You get 3,000 penetration. I mean, that alone is really nice. And then 4, it costs less as well. Bow's a little bit expensive, so this one costs less. I believe it also has a longer range, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, and then Lethal Arrow does have the benefit of getting Major Defile, or Minor Defile, whatever it is. I believe it's Major, Minor, I forget. But this, I feel like, gives more than the other one, so... Yeah, I mean, if you really want the Defile, you could just switch this Blast Bonus to the other one, too. So, overall, I think Focus Aim gives more. It's kind of like Venom Arrow in a way. It gives more of a utility than it does the other morph. So, yeah, that's what we're using. Here, we are using the new and improved Glacial Colossus. Now, you do have options. You could use Toxic Barrage. I mean, that's up to you. But I'm using Glacial Colossus. One, I'm a Necro. I want to use some Necro skills. I mean, look at my bar. It's almost all weapon. Glacial Colossus got a huge buff. Alright, this skill destroys people. Dude, I literally will stun people with Magnum Shot, drop a Colossus, and they just disappear from the face of the earth. It's so good. So the cost got decreased. It's only 189 for me now with Stage 3 Vamp. I mean, that's freaking awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is really, really nice. Yeah, it hits hard. It hits really hard. Also, the Major Vulnerability now lasts for 17 seconds. So you get Major Berserk from Sea Serpent, and then you get 10% more damage from this for 17 seconds, unless they cleanse it, of course, but it's crazy. It does 9,000 each hit on buff. 9, 18, 27,000 damage total unbuffed. When it's buffed up, it's doing well over 30. Also stuns people on the last hit. So this skill, you're getting chased around, or you're kiting. This is amazing. All right, you could use Dawnbreaker, but I prefer this. So yeah. On the back bar, we do not have Bone Armor. We are using Race Against Time. So we get Major Expedition, we get Minor Force, so it's movement speed and crit damage, and then you get speed and you get immune to CCs. This is nice because if you're getting chased down, you are a bow. Alright, you can use this and get away for free essentially. Alright, now the thing about it that's really nice is we have access to Major Expedition from this, but we also have access to it in the bow passives. Alright, so we have two ways to get Major Expedition. That's really nice because if you run out of magic or you run out of stam, you can use the other resource to get your Major Expedition. So having two sources of it without needing to slot a skill is awesome. Alright, awesome. Also, the bow passives got changed a little bit. You increase your damage done by 5% when you're within 15 meters. I'm within 15 meters a lot. And then you get higher crit chance when you're further away. Alright, so that is really nice as well. Yeah, I mean, it is very, very nice. Also, when you are dealing damage with a light attack, it increases your bow damage by 5% for 5 seconds, up to 5 times. So, if you're light attack weaving like you should be, you can get 25% damage done. You can get 10% more from vulnerability, and then you can get 10% from Sea Serpent. You can get 45% damage done, and then you can get 5% from being close to people. So then you can get 50% damage done. That is why this build will melt people. Alright, so then we're using Elemental Susceptibility. This is our Major Breach. It applies to status effects, and it's a free skill. Great. Here we're using Vigor. Alright, this is our heal, our hot, and then it also provides us with Minor Resolve, which is kind of a must at this point. Here we're using Resistant Flesh for that big beefy heal. And here we're using Spirit Guardian because it's 10% damage mitigation, it's cheap, it has a heal. Very must-have skill. Now, if you want to have a flex spot, you really don't want to use Camo Hunter, which I highly recommend. You could throw in Dead in Pain because Dead in Pain did get a buff. Instead of it lasting 2 seconds, it lasts 4. Also, you get 10% damage mitigation from it, and then you get 3% for having it slotted. Alright, so you can essentially get 13% more damage mitigation. It is a very nice skill, I'm not going to lie, like it is a very loaded skill, but the problem is, for this build, I don't really have anywhere to put it. I mean, yeah, hypothetically, I could use it over Vigor, but I'd rather have Minor Resolve than I don't know, for me, I'd rather have 20 seconds guaranteed of Minor Resolve instead of having Dead in Pain on the bar, you know? I don't know how else to explain it. Like, that's how I feel about it, so. But you could use Dead in Pain, honestly, Dead in Pain is a good skill, so, yeah. Here we're using Goliath because it's so freaking good. Alright, it's basically a get out of jail free card. You're low. Maybe you're at 220 alt and you're like, oh gosh, I'm close. You kite a little bit, block a little bit, and then boom, Your Goliath saves the day. Alright, so it's not bad. Those are the skills, guys. Those are the skills. In terms of CP, I believe my CP is off, possibly. I'm not totally sure. This isn't perfect. Alright, I'm telling you right now, it's not perfect, but increases your pen for every status effect, direct damage, AoE damage, and weapon and spell damage. And then in the red tree, we have Pain's Refuge, Juggernaut, Hardened, and then Fortified. Alright, that is what we're using. Let me know what you think down below. I mean, I would show you the combo. I mean, it's pretty simple and self-explanatory. I don't see an enemy around off the top of my head. But pretty much what you're going to want to be doing is you're going to want to elemental susceptibility them. Then you're going to light attack into Venom Arrow. Then you are going to pull up your Blast Bones. You're going to snipe a few times. You're going to stun them. And a lot of times, guys, they will already be dead. Alright, so that is what we're using, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. See you later. Have a great day. Peace.